Hello, hello. Welcome to Young Reech Capital's Live 5. We are looking at Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame. Today we will be discussing what's been going on in the past week. Since last Friday is when I went live, and what you see on the chart right now is all of what I had put to the live stream last week after I also provided a trade with this breakdown right here, a small scalp opportunity. What I had said is this is what's known as a pennant structure. We did break down, and you see this line I had mentioned that we would be coming in to sweep the liquidity of this low, which would essentially be the low of this entire market structure. And that's exactly what we did. We swept this low, and then we had this massive reaction, pretty much covering all of what happened yesterday. So what I'm going to do now is get rid of all of these things, clear out another thing that I had mentioned on the stream. Uh, so we had this massive move. Let me pull up the 30-minute chart. So we had this massive move, right, on Bitcoin. It was a 37,000 point move from this low of about 50%. Quite a massive move, to be honest, on Bitcoin in a span of 2 months. And then we have now started to break down from this trend line right here. I had pointed this out in last week's live stream as we did have this breakdown, and I said we would be retesting this as soon as we had that. Look at this reaction. Pretty cool reaction to this low. I was expecting this price. I had set up the 102.5k region, which we did react out of, and then we had a minor move, which we then retested this low, which we broke out of. But right here, we retested this, and then we had this beautiful move down. Of course, all of this was the result of Trump causing trouble as usual. So, what can we now expect on the Bitcoin chart? I'm gonna make some more changes to these drawings right here. So now I'm gonna keep it clear and simple. What we have right now is something which is quite unusual because usually when we have a breakdown like this, the market tends to consolidate within this pocket, right? And it looks like we have now traded above the Fibonacci retracement of this high and this low. So what that means right now is the market is looking to maintain a range of this high and this low. This is the first confirmation of the range right here, this low. So I'm going to put this line as well, which is going to be the all-time high. Actually, we don't really need that right now because we have this support turned into resistance quite quickly, actually, right here. Then we retested this and then we came back down, took support at this support level, went back up, came back down, retested this. And this is basic market dynamic structure. And as you can see right now, the price action is creating a very bullish reaction. This is a V reversal, what's known as a V reversal. Usually happens when there's a lot of volume in the market. So right now, everybody who traded this Fibonacci golden pocket is now closing out their positions, which is why we're seeing this reaction right now on BTC live playing out. So my thesis at the moment on Bitcoin on the 30-minute time frame, essentially the lower time frames, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull up the daily time frame to showcase a much higher time frame scenario. Wow, this is beautiful chart on Bitcoin. Truly, what a beautiful chart. Absolutely next level bullish, right? And there's an additional situation playing out right here. If you see, this is what's known as a bullish engulfing candle. I zoom in. Technically, yeah, we have to wait for another 7 hours to see how this candle closes. This is a very bullish candle right now that's playing out. It's a super bullish candle. So, what can we expect Bitcoin to do now is essentially trade within this range of this high and these lows. So, until we get a break either above this high or below this low, most likely we're going to get a break below this low sooner rather than later. Rather than going all the way above here, it's going to be a little more difficult for the price to create momentum back above these highs. But absolutely anything is possible. So I would keep this situation at a 50-50. It's a situation, 50% possibility. Right now, the market is at a consolidation range inside this pocket right here. So what that means is we have a 50-50% chance of it continuing to range within this region, or we we start breaking above these zones, then we break out all the way to our target, which was 118K, right? And I'm going to show you all something which is truly remarkable, which is what's known as the VWAP. I talk about the VWAP a lot. I use the VWAP, rolling VWAP a lot, right? So in this chart, if you had noticed, I had marked out the VWAP on the 20th of May. That's about 16, 17 days ago, 16 days ago, right? And if you notice, price has reacted quite beautifully at the 30-day VWAP right here. Of course, it's not exactly precise, but we did react very close to this price. This blue line that you see here is the 30-day VWAP, right? And we reacted so well that we have now come back into our demand zone, which was previously a resistance zone and now converted into a demand zone. So now what I would do is essentially make this into a neutral zone rather than demand zone until we get more confirmation. All right. So this is what's known as a neutral zone because the price is consolidating within this zone and we have come back into it, quite a massive move. Then now I'm seeing something quite interesting as well. This is now what is known as a inverted fair value gap. This is going to be a very important zone of confluence for Bitcoin. IBFG, right? Inverted fair value gap. Beautiful to see a inverted fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame. So what that means is a previously bearish candle, bearish fair value, has now been converted. Technically, the market should have rejected within the zone and come back down into either this demand zone or tapped into the 94K. Of course, the 94K is a slightly far away price point, so it would have possibly taken support at this 97, 98K region, which was the previous highs breakout zone, right? We didn't get that. We did take support on the 30-day VWAP. Just take a look at this beautiful reaction and conversion of this fair value gap into an inverted one. Really awesome to see this on a higher time frame. So what can we expect now is I'm most likely expecting a bullish reaction rather than a bearish one, because as you can see, the market is very, very bullish. So much of volume coming in, and of course, converting this fair value into a bullish one is now going to give an opportunity for people to take a long position right here and target this high, or you can target this target of 118K, which would give us a 5 hour trade. I wouldn't recommend doing that until we break through this high, especially. So at the moment, this would be a good move, a good swing trade, a 2.3 hour trade, right? We do have this order block as well, where the price can technically come in and wick into it. So as long as the market does not create any sort of closes below these levels, then we're good. Which I don't think it's going to do that because of this inverted fair value, along with balanced price ranges, right? So this is a balanced price range, as you can see what I've marked out, where we have a bearish fair value overlapped by a bullish one, which is known as a BPR. So we're looking quite bullish actually. So I would expect the price to do something like this. You can target this. This is a very good quick swing trade that is possible, where the price reacts at these levels and then goes back up. So what we can do is to increase our risk to reward. I would do something like this and then target this block rather than this high. I like to target this block right here, because there is a supply zone forming at this level, right? So this is a potential trade opportunity where the price comes into this BPR, balanced price range, and then we finally break out of this trend line, then boom. Because this is not what the price is going to do. It's going to do its own thing, of course, but something similar to this. We will absolutely get a retest of this BPR very soon. Once we get the retest of this BPR, then we will know what to do. We'll have to wait for the trend line as our confirmation. Then we can play the market accordingly. Right. So this is the potential trade opportunity on Bitcoin for a swing setup on the 4 hour chart. Now, if I pull up an indicator which is known as a key level indicator, as you can see, we now have some confluence areas that the key level indicator is pointing out to us. The first point of interest is going to be the weekly VWAP of 104,300K. So this is going to be our first level of support, along with the monthly VWAP as well and the daily 5 EMA, all of it aligning beautifully right here. So this level is going to be super, super, super important. And just take a look at this massive 4 hour candle close above these levels, right? So when you have a confirmation close above such a level, especially the weekly, monthly VWAP and the daily EMA, 5 EMA, it is absolutely bullish. And we will get a reaction at these levels. Then we'll see what happens after that. Then we have the daily VWAP sitting at 103K, which is right here, along with the weekly 5 EMA as well is sitting right here, which is coinciding with the daily VWAP. So now if you notice, we have a block of support areas that have been formed at this level between the region of 103 to 104K. So I'd like to put a call out right here, slightly closer to the price, as well as this one, right? And then of course I'm going to put a call out of my analysis, which is the balanced price range zone right here, which is where I'm going to be looking to take a long into Bitcoin and targeting this supply zone. Additionally, we have a support zone of the 50 EMA on the daily 50 EMA sitting right here. So, beautiful support zones available for Bitcoin. And there we go. We have a daily 200 EMA sitting here, which is at the price level of $91,000, right? 91,000 is where our daily EMA is sitting. Then our yearly VWAP is sitting at a beautiful price of 93,000. So these levels are going to be very important. I'm going to mark out this VWAP price because as I always do, I prefer to trade with the VWAP rather than any other indicators. The VWAP has time and time again shown me that it is what the market makers and the smart money players use to execute trades at certain key levels, which is essentially the VWAP. So we now have this 93K target. I'm going to circle this 93,176, or essentially the 93K. I'm going to circle it because there's a reason. This is a yearly VWAP, to note that. And below that, we have a daily 200 EMA, which is also potential price target, which also coincides with, if I can get rid of this to clean up the chart a bit, if you notice, we have this right here, which is sitting at a demand zone that I had drawn out. And as you can also see, we have this 88,000, which is the Fibonacci zone of a retracement from the April 7th, the tariff announcement low, all the way to the all-time highs. So this is also going to be a very key level of confluence, 88,000. And of course, we have a weekly EMA of 50 sitting at this demand zone right here, which is at $84,000. And that, friends, is going to be the last line of support for Bitcoin right here, which is the 84,000. If we see Bitcoin breaking down below these levels, we can then expect a move back to the 74K, of course, which was the low that the market put in right here. If you notice right here, this was the move, the low that the market put in before it made this rally. It was at that 74K level. So this is what we can expect. If the price comes into these levels, we can expect the 74,000 zone. And if we break down from 74, we can expect $54,000, which is the weekly 200 EMA, right? This is going to be a very, very, very important level for long term players. Please note that this is precisely only for long term moves I'm talking about. These are not for scalpers, these are not for people who are trading intraday moves, etc. This is only for long term players. Please do note that. Right? So, this $54,000 is going to be a very key level, and this is going to be the last line of support. Final frontier for Bitcoin is going to be this 54K. As you very well know, if we beat the 54K, we come into the 48K, which was the absolute local low before this massive move on Bitcoin, right? Which was worth 60,000 points, 124%, right? So this line of support right here is going to be the absolute last final move on Bitcoin, 54,000 and the 48K, 49K. But of course, these are all levels for a much later time. We have a long way to go to reach this point. We are very much comfortably sitting in a bullish space right now. We have this trend line, we have multiple support zones. So, unless there is an extreme news event, black swan event, or some sort of uncertain situation comes up, Only then we can expect these lower prices. Until then, honestly, we are gonna be chilling and chilling, and we have multiple zones of support, right? And immediately, if you're looking and if anybody's bearish, I'd be expecting the price of 93,000. This is where the yearly VWAP is sitting at. This is a very cool price. So we can expect this 93K anytime in this momentum. If the bearish momentum continues, then sure, we can absolutely expect the 93K. Definitely something to watch out for. Of course, we have a golden pocket sitting here. We don't really need to come into this golden pocket. We can continue to take support right here and then blast off, or at least kind of come back into these levels. But we'll get to that as and when the price develops. So this is a beautiful indicator for those of you wondering what it's called. It's called levels of interest. These are the settings. You can pause the video and set it up. Quite straightforward, really. The name of the maker is MediMarku something. Right. So this was Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart of this indicator. This is what we're looking at right now. Immediately, I'll be looking at these price points, the 104K, 103K, 102K, right? You can expect price to retrace into these zones, but this is my trade for Bitcoin on the higher time frame, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how the price reacts based on the trend line that's forming right here, which is the upper trend line. Beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna quickly break down all the altcoins and see where it's going, what's happening. All right, so as you can see, peanut has now reached the second demand zone, which is the 23 cents I had marked out. We have we definitely have some good support here, potentially coming into these zones now. If I have to convert this to, yeah, all right, so now pretty much everything on the way down are going to be support levels. Of course, we converted this support level, which we did take a reaction out of, into now a resistance zone. So I'm going to have to change this into a supply zone rather. There we go. So now this has now become a resistance zone. We do have some support forming at the demand zone of 23 cents. And we can expect the price to play out accordingly. I'm going to pull up the 30-day VWAP as well. All right. So if you notice, the VWAP is now sitting at a price of 33 cents. Do have a long way to go, but it is bearish until we come back above the VWAP to target the 48-cent marker. So that is peanut. Next up, we have Trump token. So I heard a news article. I read a news article recently that World Liberty Financial, the company that essentially is a part of the Trump family's list of companies that they own, especially crypto. So apparently they have entered into some short positions and sitting quite comfortably with a lot of profits at the moment. As you can see, we have now broken down from this fair value. This demand zone has now been converted into a supply zone. So I'm now gonna have to change this up real quick. There we go. All right, so the next zone of confluence is going to be the 7.63. And of course, the VWAP is way further away from the current price action. As you can see, we did break down and we had a massive breakdown on Trump token. It's given us a move of about 33%. And if I pull up the key levels, we're going to see something like this. We do have the daily VWAP sitting here. So overall, pretty okay. But I would now expect Trump to come back into this 7.363 zone, and then we'll see how it reacts out of these levels. Possibly also taking support right here, creating some sort of a descending wedge pattern. But until we break through these levels, honestly, I don't really want to trade Trump token at all. Also, it's super volatile, unnecessarily volatile. So it's not something I'm interested in trading, but these are going to be some key levels for Trump token. Next up, we have Ondo, and simple. I'd marked all this out a month ago, and just take a look at what a beautiful reaction we are receiving on Ondo at these levels, very close to what I had marked out. I'm expecting this price to come through as well, 70 cents. It's where I'd be looking to take some longs. Right here would be a beautiful place to take a long, as a matter of fact. And we can target this trend line for a 2 hour trade. Let's see how it plays out. This is what I'll be looking at on the Ondo token. Me, actually, for now, I'm just going to wait it out and see how the price action develops. This is a good possibility for a long on Ondo. Next up, we have Zen token. Then, as you can see, it's way too volatile. It's just creating all sorts of massive wicks, and yeah, this is not a token that I want to trade in right now. Way too volatile for me, unnecessarily volatile. I do like trading volatile tokens, don't get me wrong, but I do not like to trade tokens that are unnecessarily volatile. It has to have some purpose for me to trade it. If it's just trading based on manipulations and creating a lot of fake outs in the market, honestly, I've stopped doing trades with these kind of tokens. So anyway, people who trade Zen token, these are going to be key levels. Of course, we didn't get a reaction at the $13 mark. We got a reaction at the $12. I would like to mark this out as well. Right, so this is going to be Zen. Might have to repurpose these trend lines real quick. See how we can manage the current situation. All right, so this is what it is. We are essentially trading in some sort of a channel, you can say, a broadening wedge formation. Could say that, could get a reaction. So this is what we're looking at on the Zen token, the 4 hour time frame. Next up, what do we have? Next up, we have Pengu. One of my interest interesting tokens that I've traded. As you can see, we are now reacting at this level of the 1 cent marker. At this demand zone that I've marked out, we are reacting quite well. And I'd like to also mark out some levels that we have coming up. We have the 007 marker coming through right here. This would be a key level to look for. If I look at the VWAP, we do all the yeah the VWAP is going to be far away because we have deviated quite far from it ever since we broke the trend line on Bitcoin and of course all the altcoins as well. So this is what we're going to expect on Pengu. I'm going to be expecting this price. If we break this zone right here, if we break this, then we could expect the 007 marker. All right, next up we have Solana. As I said, I had marked out this blue line right here because as soon as we broke down from it, we retested and we came back down. Now we're taking support at this $145 mark. It's going to be a key level as well. If we break this, of course, we have a $122 mark, which is going to be a very, very strong support zone. So these are going to be key levels on Sol. All right, XRP. Overall, as what I'm looking at on XRP is really good, beautiful, because looks like there's a lot of buyers stepping in, a lot of support coming in, especially for XRP, which is very interesting to see because usually don't get to see XRP trade this well. Always has been quite volatile ever since the Dubai and the UAE deal that they had with XRP. But this is actually quite a bullish pattern right here. It's what's known as a descending wedge. Mm. Possibly come in here. This could be a zone to take along as well. Let's see what happens. It's an interesting pattern forming and also very strong support. Look at this reaction. Hasn't reacted as aggressively as any other altcoin or even Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has reacted quite massively after it broke its 1 month uptrend. As you can see, XRP is still kind of taking pretty good support at these levels. So I feel like this level is going to be a very important level as well. Mark it out right here. $2 mark. Very important. Anyway, I'm going to be looking to take a long at XRP at this level. As I've mentioned before, if at all I start seeing some potential moves, I might look to take a long right here as well. So clear up the chart a bit. I can do something like this. Set up a potential situation like so, and we'll have to see how the price plays out, because I'm not too sure of the risk to reward, because as I'm seeing here, we do have some demand in this zone as well. So we can come in and tap into this 1.789 region, then we can start moving up. But potentially possible, because I do see a fair value and an auto block sitting right here which hasn't been tapped. So we do have some possibility of it coming out here or something like this. Let's see. I'm just gonna leave these drawings, see what happens, just for fun. All right, Tau. Tau is also looking really good. As you can see, we have reacted at this beautiful demand zone. What a beautiful reaction right here. Get rid of this trend line, not needed anymore. We can set up some fresh ones. Beautiful. So for Tau, I'm going to look to see if the price reacts at this 401 level. That's when I'm going to be looking to take a long. Until then, I don't think I'm going to be looking to long Tau. Maybe intraday plays, possibly. I haven't been trading altcoins a lot, to be honest. I've just been trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. But as soon as the altcoins start showing me some more volume, then I'll be interested in making some plays. As you can see, the volume has been fallen. All right, that was Tau. Next up, we have Popcat. Popcat is also something that I like to trade. It's going to be a key level as well. Looks like we took support at this level right here. All right. So this is going to be my key level. But as I said, I'm going to be a buyer at this level for Popcat. Pretty much all the altcoins behaving the same way. And just take a look at this Sui. What a beautiful move. As you can see, our trade on Sui played out. Our swing trade has been completed after it reacted at this fair value. You can get rid of this now. And just look at this beautiful reaction at this 2.9661 level. What a lovely reaction, and we're continuing to get a better reaction. I think I'm going to get a possibly a rejection here, retest, and then we can expect the price to do something like this, or come back down depending on what Bitcoin is also up to. So we have these certain possibilities on the SUI token. These are going to be key levels to watch out for, as well as this upper trend line and this lower trend line that we are currently breaking out of. It's also something to watch out for. Beautiful move on Sui, breaking out of a downtrend right now. Very, very interesting to watch out for something like this. And target this trade right here. Actually, I'm quite interested to target this for a nice, quick 2 hour trade. Hoping to get a retest of some sort out here. Let's see. Let's see how it plays out. All right, so this is going to be my next trade on Sui. Beautiful stuff playing out. Exactly, almost exactly precisely how I had set it up for the charts. And my analysis has played out exactly. We took a trade at this fair value, had this beautiful reaction. Now we're getting a break out of this trend line. So something I'm looking forward to. Let's see if this trade plays out. It's a very small risk trade, small capital trade. So let's see how it plays out. I'm gonna have to wait for confirmation to enter it though. Let's see how it plays out. Next up, we have Dogecoin. Huh. Dogecoin, interestingly, took support at this very close to this 16-cent marker. Of course, after whatever's been happening with Trump and Elon Musk, you can see what all of what started the move with their friendship was completely diminished with their enmity. And that says a lot about human nature. This one move right here says a lot about friendships and human nature in general. So just funny to think about, right? So also seeing something else here, we do have fair value, inverted fair value, bearish fair value. You can say that. So these are going to be some key levels for Dogecoin. Next up, we have Pendle. Funnily, Pendle is still holding the position that I had entered in May, 14th of May. As you can see, we're still pretty much chilling. Our stop loss is below this level, and we have taken support very well within this zone. So I would expect this price to hit sooner rather than later. This price right here, the $5.5 mark, which is going to give us a 3.83 move. And as you can see, Pendle is such an awesome token to trade. We are still very much well above this trend line. We haven't, and I think this is probably one of the only altcoins that hasn't broken the bullish move of the entire 2 months worth of trading activity. As you can see, absolutely possible where we continue to take support here. But of course, if we do break down, this is going to be our next zone of confluence right here. So it'd be a very important level, the 3.1692. Because of course, as you can see, there's a lot of consolidation that took place. We broke out of the zone, so we have a small consolidation zone right here. This would be a very important level to look at, 3.16. But at the moment, we are still very much in this trade. Of course, we are in a bit of loss, but a very small loss. It's not a big loss at all. And if we break down from this, we get invalidated anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I would say this is one of the strongest charts, altcoin charts that I've seen out of all of my tokens that I hold in my watch list. Pendle is probably the only token that is looking really good, amazing, beautiful stuff. Okay, so this is also going to be a potential rejection zone. Looks like previous support consolidation converted in SR flip out here. Pendle. Next up we have Fartcoin. Fartcoin. All right, I mean it's all right, pretty much similar to all the other altcoins. Did take support here. Looks similar to the Sui chart, but of course Sui is looking a lot more powerful in comparison to Fartcoin now. Get rid of this, and then put together this right here. All right, beautiful. As you can see, we have a trend line. Until we break this trend line, I'm not going to be looking for any longs. And that was Fartcoin. These are going to be key levels. Next up, we have Ethereum. Ethereum, as you can see, has also been taking a lot of beautiful support within this box right here. This zone is starting to give me some indications that Ethereum wants to now target some higher prices of 2,850, 3,300. Absolutely interesting to watch how Ethereum plays out in the next couple of weeks. So this is going to be our all-time move of Ethereum on the 4 hour. We have a VWAP that we still haven't yet tested, which is sitting at a price tag of 2241. Of course, we have a 2000 level, which still hasn't been tagged into. Hopefully, we do get a tag of these levels, which would be very interesting to then make plays out of. All right, back to BTC. As you can see, we are now taking a rejection at this trend line and possibly coming back to into this fair value, also this BPR, where I said I'm going to be taking a long opportunity of a 3 to 3.5 R trade on the 4-hour chart. Good swing opportunity for Bitcoin to get into this kind of position. Of course, at the moment, I'm not going to be looking to trade with a big capital. It's going to be a very small capital sizing. So even if this trade doesn't go my way, I have better levels to look at and trade off of, which will give me much higher confluence opportunities. Right now, I'm placing this trade off of the current price action, not historical price action. What all these levels that you see right here, all of these levels that you see, these green boxes, the white lines, and etc., are all historical price points. At the moment, this is a live price breakdown of inverted fair value along with the balanced price range, which is why I'm looking at taking along here. Of course, we have a lot of confluence zones to look at if we see prices fall down further. All right, that was a quick breakdown of all the altcoins on my watch list, along with some cool Bitcoin chart analysis and also a potential swing long opportunity on Bitcoin. So, with that, I am going to be logging off and I will be back next week, either on Thursday or on Friday, to consolidate the upcoming week's trading and hopefully see if we can find another trade or just in general chill out and break down the charts. And this is what I like to do. And I just like chilling and breaking down the charts and analyzing things. Pretty cool to see whatever is happening in the markets right now and how Bitcoin has been reacting. Of course, lovely volume on Bitcoin, whether it's to the downside or to the upside. A lot of opportunities available, especially for intraday players. If you know how to do it the right way, you can make a lot of money. But it takes time. Patience is the name of the game. I keep reminding myself that every moment that every time I go into a slump and I take losses and I don't and things don't go my way, I have to contain myself and remember that patience is the way, is the only way. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to close out today's stream. Beautiful stream, and hope you all have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Please trade safely, and I will see you all on the next one, which will be on Thursday or Friday of next week. Great. Take care. See you all.